Hello, my wonderful students. Okay, in this one, we are going to take a look at the contour and how to add that contour. It's time for new sticky notes. All right, with our sticky notes going, let's add our contour node. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come and I am going to shift select here, and I'm going to type contour, and we're going to get the Redshift contour right here. Right, so that's our Redshift contour node. And I'm going to call this my master outlines, like so. Right, and so now what I can do with this guy is I need to connect it to something. Now, there's nothing to connect it to here. Where you actually have to connect it to is the shading group nodes. Now, here's a trick, because a lot of times when you select the shading group node, it's going to like go to something else by default. What you can do is you can just right click on it, and then right here you see that, and that's going to bring it to it. You just select that name, and that's going to bring it to this, because we need this. Then what we need to do is I need to take this Redshift, and I just need to bring it, expose that tab. And what we're going to do is we're going to drag this contour shader onto the word contour shader. So if I come over here and if I select this, well, I lost that window. I need to select this, and I need to click with my middle mouse button and hold it to do a middle button drag. And then I drop it on the name. I don't drop it in here. I drop it on that name right there. Boom. Now it does that connection. I did it correctly, right? So let's do that again. I'm going to grab this guy. Again, this goes into the contour shader, and I'm going to drag and I'm going to drop it into that master outline right there. Right? So there we go. And so now we have some outlines going on. Here, why don't we see how thick we can get these guys so we can actually see them at work. So there, I'm just taking that, doing the thing. Oh, you also notice my my rim light from the other show, the other thing. I went and I gave it a warm color instead of that cool color, and it's working better now. Matches that light, so that kind of makes sense, right? Here I can make it shine just a little bit more, and the reason why I'm making it a little bit stronger is because I don't want my outlines to kill it. So I need to make that sort of blend come in here. So I'm gonna go to the rim width as well. Where's my rim width? Right there. Honestly, take this guy, move him up like that. There we go. So I'm getting a little more length on that. Right, getting that highlight in there, and that highlight's looking pretty good. So here, let's play with this contour shader now. Okay, so let's, yeah, actually we did everything on our list right there. Click on the Redshift tab, add, so, boom, boom, or strike through. Struck all that out. So how does this work? Well, how it works here is, we got some thickness right here, right? So let's actually take this guy, and I'm going to turn this guy off so we can just see what this one's doing by itself. So if I expand this like this, I'm making that line nice and chunky. Now this is definitely resolution dependent. But here I can go bigger on this guy, so I can do 20, so I can get a really nice thick outline. You gotta be careful though, because what's gonna happen is some of the smaller stuff is you're gonna start losing some of that detail, right? And what this should be doing is you should be going along mostly around the silhouette of the items in it, right? And that also talks about like these internal shapes as well. If you turn on this detect, well, then things really go nuts, because it's treating each separate mesh by itself, and it just goes totally bananas. So we're just going to turn off that detect separate mesh, and I'm going to bring this down to a level. I want a little bit thicker right there. I'm going to leave it to something about like that. Now, the thickness modifier, basically what we can do is we could do something like add a noise into the thing. Add one of those sexy maxim noises to give some line breakup, and maybe we'll do that at the end or in a bonus video to give it more of a sketchy look. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to these guys here. So I'm going to turn this off, and then we're going to see what this one does. Now, as I bring this one up, and let's go a big number again, just so we can see what's going on. So this is doing the same thing, as it's hitting the outline of the character. But you'll notice if I take this and I start bringing this back, right? Then what it's doing is it's going to start grabbing these sort of internal things. So let's go a little bit slower in here. So eventually maybe we're going to catch some of these lines here in this. So if I bring this down, I'm going to try to get some of these, but it looks like it's doing some stuff up here, but it's not really doing the things I want down here. Which, unfortunate, but we're catching some lines up here. Usually you're going to have this one be the thick one and this one be the thin one, because this is meant for these internal shapes. So now it's giving me some detail in these areas right here, right? So see how it's catching some of this stuff right here. So here, if I start bringing this down, there we go. So this is really nice because it's catching those little bumps, and it's giving them some shape, which is really good. The little spikes on this guy, and again, I can control this by taking this angle threshold and just bringing it down more and more, right? And there's a certain point where I'm going to get to diminishing returns and get to ugliness, and so then it's just about playing with the thickness, but still trying to get enough where I can get some of that detail showing through, right? All right, so that's the angle threshold. Now let's come over here and let's try the depth threshold. And the depth threshold, I'm not exactly sure how that works, to tell you the truth. I would think it would be kind of based on the depth between the items and stuff, and it trying to give a little bit more definition there. But honestly, I don't know. Let's see if I press Control in here and drag this a little bit. I wonder if I can do it a lot more subtly. Yeah, it's just gonna, it's picking up the spikes as well, right? But it's not picking up that much other detail. It would be really nice if I could get some detail in this, if I could bring that forward. Now, there is also, we can try to detect separate meshes, but I don't really think that's going to help us. So the other thing we have is the geometric normal. So if we go along the geometric normal and I start bringing this down, what you'll see is it actually starts doing the topology. And so now it's picking up lines. So this is the actual topology of the object. In theory, I guess if you're a super good modeler, you can, use that almost like a crosshatch. Or you can just do it to show your wireframe, I guess. I've never really used it, and I don't think it's that great. I've never seen it successfully used in this style, so I'm not sure, honestly, what you're going to use that for. And it's even showing like the tessellation, which then gets nuts. So I don't know. Again, if we try that on depth, depth's not really doing a lot picking that up. So, and again, I'm not really sure why you would do it. So, what I am sure on, however, is I would go like this. I'd go to my smooth normal, because I really like the fact that it's picking up those internal shapes in there. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to draw this back like so. Get it to something like that. And now that's picking up some of this stuff here. Just compress Control like that. Right? And it's picking up some of those shapes for me. What I really want to be careful about is I'm doing this, that I don't get a line too thick coming in that's all of a sudden killing all your everything in your thing, in your object. So there you go. Here I'm going to come to the color correction, and I'm going to maybe punch up this texture a little bit. I'm going to bring that up. This guy, not that far. I'm also going to add some contrast to him a little bit to make his color read just a little bit better on the body. Get a little bit more ripped. When I do that, I'm going to bring up that level. And also I can bring up that saturation or bring down that saturation a bit, because that contrast is going to give me some of that. I really don't want to do any hue shifts on that. And that was that color correct that I had in there. There you go. Anyway, so now I'm just futzing about. There you go. That's pretty much it for the contour. It's really just about choosing the line shape that you like and how big that line shape is going to be. So here, again, I'm going to go to something like 15 so I can get a nice thick contour line. You got to be careful about your fingers, because sometimes you're going to, or little things, because you're going to start losing that detail. So you really need to like scrub an animation or something like that. A lot of people... So when you're doing your stuff like this, what you using the Toon Shader, you can get stuff that looks really good graphic, like get a really good illustrated look, but it doesn't animate well. So in that instance, what you kind of want to do is you kind of want to push things more to a flatness, right? So like I can take this line and I can just have it mostly lit on that object and get just sort of a lot more shallow line work, and that's just going to animate better. If you do something like this where you have like, you know, a lot of things going on in here, it's just not going to look that great when it animates. It's going to have that CG, or that really big CG feel. So really just make it a lot more shallow, bring it flat, get your contour lines on there, and that should be pretty good. Another thing you can do is we can actually switch this back to linear, right? And by switching this back to linear and pulling this up a little bit, what I can do is I can take the sharpness off those edges, right? So if I want to do something like this, or I can, you know, let's make this a little more shallow here. This is my base tone map. Yeah, my base tone map. So I'm gonna do something like this. And I'm gonna take this guy and I'm gonna make it dark. Right, so here I can do none, and then sort of like set up my extents between two things, and then I can do this linear like this, and then so I can have like I can play with these transitions, right? So I make this the darkest dark part right here, something like that, and then I'm gonna bring this guy down like this. And I can extend this line like that. Wow. Now here, probably if I light them more with a an area light, I can get a little bit of a better of a fall off. That's kind of what your area light would be. And do something like that. I want to tricolor them, right? And just that handles my transition zones. Anyway, it didn't make it look better. There you go. That's it for the video. Thanks. Next year, I'm going to do another video, and I'm just going to do some tricks in the other video. Cool.